We're back. I'm dog sitting, so I'm back in my little corner. I did one of my wrap-ups here, actually, I think in June or July. So I figured I'd come back to my little corner, my little comfy, cozy corner. So, not new, we know what we're doing. I'm going to tell you straight from the beginning, small month. Did not read a book until August 17th. That was when I was like, okay, maybe I should finish a book. Maybe I should put the tandem down so I can have a book finished. So we have a grand total. Our smallest month yet. 4 books. I was close to getting a 5th because I'm almost done with another one, but it wasn't gonna happen, so. We're lucky we got 4. Lucky. Since this is such a small wrap up, I'm gonna do a fun TBR video next. It's not gonna be in this because I'm not ready and I clearly don't have any books to pick from, but next video when I get home, I'm gonna do that. So don't worry, I've got extra to compensate for the lack of reading this month. But that doesn't mean I don't have a lot of thoughts. I've got a lot to talk about. I feel very passionate, good and bad, about the books coming up, so I'm ready to yap, don't worry. Stats for August. As we said, 4 books. Nothing exciting. The average rating was 3.2. We had both ends of the spectrum this month, so I read 2 romances, they were both sports romances, 1 thriller and 1 horror. I had a total of 1,447 pages, which I don't think that's right because I just go off of Goodreads pages usually, and they are typically wrong. Hate to say it. I'll be like almost done with a book and it's like, you're 50% through, so I know they're not correct. Like they had 2 of my books an extra 200 pages in Goodreads, so I was like, that's incorrect. So 2 of them I went and got the pages on my Kindle, but the other 2 I don't know if they're right or not, so it's probably more around like 1,200 pages. But whatever, none of my business. It was a low amount of pages, that's all I know. And then my favorite is, I'll do that at the end. Can't give it away, even though it's gonna be very obvious which is my favorite. Okay, so my first 2 were Kindle books, so talking about them in spirit. I talked about this book a lot in my last video when I was reading. So I'm gonna jump in. I started the there's another fly. I started the Windy City series, which very popular series right now for, very popular series right now for sports romances. If you're a sports romance girly, you need to read them. That's all I'm gonna say. The first one, Mile High. Very questionable. I don't wanna say questionable, I just didn't like the first 100 pages at all, which seems to be the majority of us, is that none of us like the beginning of that book or the book at all. I've seen plenty of people DNF it and just go to the second one. I made it through. I pushed through. Once I got past the like 150 mark, I really enjoyed it, which by the way, very long book. It's like well over 400 pages for absolutely no reason whatsoever. But the beginning, the whole plot is this really popular, really talented hockey player who is known for being like the playboy piece of shit, doesn't care about anyone but himself, and like gets in fights during games and stuff like that. Like just the media sees him as a piece of trash. He makes money off of that, so he plays into it like really heavily. And then you find out that it's supposed to be like all for show, and that's not actually how he is. He's actually a really good guy, and he just got sucked into this role, and he can't escape it because of his contract, and he needs to get like rehired for a new season, whatever the fuck it's called. He doesn't get rehired, but re-signed for a new season, and it's a signing year, so he has to like keep it going, whatever. And just like he makes a ton of money on the publicity that he does and stuff. That's like our main character. And the female is a flight attendant who she works on the planes that, our female main character works on all of the planes they take to go to away games. So she is a constant for every single away game. And he of course flirts with her in like a jokey way at first. And then he realizes that she's not playing into it. He loves the chase is basically it. Like she's not giving into it at all, and she doesn't give a fuck if he's hot. And so of course he wants it more. He wants her even more. And that's like the initial vibe of the book, is it's just him wanting the chase. And it feels icky. Like it doesn't feel good or comforting to read about. The entire time from his POV is just him wanting her because she doesn't want him back, basically. That's like the feeling that I get. And she's supposed to be like a curvier girl. Okay, shut up. So she's curvier, she's not this stick girl, she's got hips, she's got ass, she's got tits. Great, amazing. I love a little representation for the curvy girls. Great. I think she did a good job in that sense. Her story, her mind, her insecurities, amazing, great. It was very realistic. I liked it. Just his side, I didn't enjoy at all at first, because we're supposed to believe he's this piece of shit. He comes off as a piece of shit. The first 100 pages, all in his mind, he's terrible. Like, I don't want to read a love story about how he's only into her because he loves the chase, basically. But then it flips, and when you find out he's this good guy, it's like I'm supposed to just believe he's been this good guy all along, when his inner monologue didn't sound like that at first. If he was a good guy all along, he wouldn't be thinking the things that he was thinking, you know? If we didn't get his inside his head from the beginning, I'd be like, okay, it was just the media portraying him as that, so I get it. I'm gonna lose my fucking mind. But she just didn't do it right. She should have not given us his POV from the beginning if we were made to believe he's been good the whole time. No, he wasn't the whole time. You can't convince me that he wasn't objectifying her the whole time. Like, I know he was. And not in a good way, not in like a funny, cute way. Just no. But then if I were to just forget about the beginning and try to see them as different people in the second half of the book, I really enjoyed it. I never gave my rating, but I gave it a 3.5. Like, the first half of the book, it was a 1 star. I didn't even want to finish it. But I don't like not getting the full story, because I knew I was going to read the other ones. So I just wanted to finish it. And then the second half of the book, I cried. I liked his background story more. I liked her background story more, the family aspect of both of them. When we got deeper into their lives, I liked their stories more. And just like the friendship aspect, all that stuff. Loved it. Amazing. Great. His grand gestures to get her and to work on himself, loved it. So I was like crying and wanted to give it a 4, 4.5, but I cannot rate a book that high when I almost DNF'd at the beginning. So I landed on just a 3.5. That's what I'm sticking with. Because it's better than a 3, in my opinion. Like, the end deserved more than a 3, but stopping at a 3.5. So do I think it's worth it to read? Yes. Can you skip it? Yes. They're in the next ones, obviously, because it's about like a sibling, it's about their friends, you know, they're interconnected. So they're in them, but I don't think that their story really sways. Now that I'm almost over halfway through the third one, I didn't need their love story to get the next 2 at all. So next, taking a huge step up, The Right Move, which is the second one. And it's about, so Stevie and Xanders were the couple in the first one, the flight attendant and the hockey star. The second one is Stevie's brother, who's a basketball star, and the other flight attendant that was best friends with Stevie. Okay, so you see the connection. Couple over here, connection is brother, twin brother, and the flight attendant bestie. Okay, so this one is forced proximity. Frank, stop sniffing by the camera. This one, let me tell you, Ryan Shea, she knows how to write a good man. Let me tell you that. She doesn't know how to write a bad man. She knows how to write a good man. Ryan freaking Shea. Oh my God, he's so hot. He's so hot. Indy's adorable, love her. Bubbly, cute personality. But Ryan Shea, basically Indy was like struggling. She just got out of a really long relationship, got cheated on. Had nowhere to go. So Stevie she like convinced her brother Ryan to let her stay there in his extra room. Because he's a billionaire, not billionaire. He's just got a lot of money because he's a professional athlete. But he's like the most popular in the city. He's like a huge basketball player, can't go anywhere without getting photographed, that kind of thing. And he hates it too. Like, he does not like the publicity because he feels like he has to be perfect all the time. So he doesn't date, he doesn't let himself like go party and get drunk and stuff. So Indy is like the opposite and kind of brings out the fun side in him. When they flirt, oh my God, it's so good. And he's like grumpy at first because he doesn't want her there, and so you're like, damn. But then he does like little acts of services for her. Oh my God, it's like obvious he cares about her. Like, quickly he starts to care about her. He gets protective over her. I want to reread it right now. It's so good. I gave this one a 4.75. It was so close. It was so close to being there. It just wasn't quite a 5-star, and I wanted room to grow because I felt like the next ones were going to get even better. So it was a 4.75. Just so good. You need to, if you like sports romances at all, even if you don't, you need to read this book. I don't know how she does it. The way the author, I think her conversations feel very natural, and they feel not forced or like too, I don't know how to explain this in a way that makes sense at all, but I feel like a lot of romance authors, the conversations that their main characters have, they're like swoon worthy, like the flirting is like amazing, and you're like, oh, but it doesn't feel like super realistic, you know? We love them and we cry over them and we want them in real life to happen, but like realistically, the conversations that they have just don't happen. Like they're just not very organic. I don't know how to explain it. They're bookish, like they're in a perfect world, in a perfect book world. That's the kind of things guys say. Liz Tomford, her conversations just feel more realistic, but still like swoon worthy, you know? I'm doing such a bad job of this, and I hope you're grasping what I'm saying. They just feel more realistic, but in a perfect world, swoon worthy way still. And I have huge crushes on everything every single one of these guys say. Every single thing her main characters say. I also appreciate her conflicts. It's the same way I feel about Abby Jimenez. Her third act breakup, or like the conflict, is a little bit more realistic than the annoying romances where you hate the third act breakup. This one, it's kind of where I can see it coming the whole time. It's not just like he did something shitty out of nowhere and you're like, why did we have to throw that in there when they were perfectly happy? It's more of they know it's coming, deadline type of upset third act breakup, and will they, won't they? You know? Or their lifestyles are completely different and they really shouldn't be together. You know? So they just feel all around more of a realistic as dating professional athletes is, as if I know the reality of that. But if you're curious about them and want to give them a try, give the second one a try. Give The Right Move a try, because it's way better than Mile High. Okay, moving on. I haven't finished the third one yet, so I'm done talking about those. Then I finally, holy hell, I started this when we did the readathon. And the first 100 pages, I was like, okay, it's a decent setup to a good thriller. Like I'm vibing with where we're going with the story. In case you can't see, The Lion Game by Ruth Ware. I had read another Ruth Ware book, The Turn of the Key, and I actually enjoyed it like a lot. I gave it, I think, either 3.5 or a 4. It was a good story. I liked the writing, the pacing, everything. I cannot explain to you the depths of boredom during this book. Oh my God. I had to listen to the audiobook on 2.5 speed, and it still felt like it was taking absolutely forever. First things, she doesn't have the chapters titled, so going back and forth between the audiobook and this was very frustrating to find where I was. Second, she jumps from the past to the present and doesn't tell you when, so you have to figure out if you're in the past or present, which is frustrating. Like, just why? Just put past. I don't understand the point of not just putting past or present at the top of the chapters. Why is it a secret? The main character, insufferable. She had a baby. That was the whole personality, was she has a baby. Okay, we get it. She made such terrible choices while having the baby with her. Okay. The whole point is called The Lying Game, which is after a game that these girls made in boarding school, where they basically had a point system of who can come up with the best lies and get away with them with these people and like teachers and stuff at their boarding school. They were like the popular mean girls. I don't even know if they were popular. They were just like always getting into trouble. The whole point of The Lying Game is like 10% of the book. We don't even focus on The Lying Game the rest of the book. I was waiting for that to like come into play at any point, and the only way it came into play was they continued to lie to each other the whole time. Like, there was just constant lies up until the last page. Then, just the entire time, we're building up to find out the main thing. Like, this big thing happened, and they're like, oh my God, we have to figure this out. They're gonna find out we were lying in boarding school. Like, clearly someone died or disappeared, and they were behind it. So they find the body, and they're just trying to figure out what the fuck their story's gonna be. So we don't know what happened. We don't know if they killed someone, like why this person has disappeared, blah, blah, blah. We find out what we think we find out pretty quickly. Like, there's a big chunk of book left when we find out, and there's only so many possibilities. There's only so many people it could have been with this group of 4 girls. And it's just not interesting at all. We find out what happened. We do not know the whole story yet. So obviously the end of the book is going to be the whole story. But we find out the main problem and what happened. I was like, I don't care how it happened. They could throw any she could throw any twist at me and be like, it was actually this person. Don't care. I didn't care at all. I'm like, okay. The very end ends in the most like anticlimactic way, and like the very end, she gives us the story of what happens, and then the next page it goes to the main girl's point of view, and she's like, well, good thing that we're good liars or whatever. It's just like, guess they'll never know as long as we like keep lying. I'll never tell my daughter the truth. So we're like, what the fuck happened? So we just never know what actually happened. I just hated it. I hated the whole thing. It was boring, and then you never know what happened. No, don't read it. It's a waste of your damn time. I gave it 1 star just because I've never rated a book 0 stars before, but half a star if I could. Then I ended on Gone to See the Riverman. I do a reading vlog with this book coming up soon, so I'm not going to go into super crazy detail about it. But I ended up giving it a 3.5 out of 5. For a horror, not bad. I would say the beginning half exceeded the second half for some reason. I feel like it's typically the other way around with horror novels. But it follows this girl, Lori, who has this obsession with a serial killer in jail, and they've been like writing each other back and forth. And he asked her to go grab this key at this shack in the woods and bring it to the Riverman. Sketchy as hell, obviously. She's like, okay, sure, whatever I need to do to prove my loyalty and love for you. And she is the caretaker of her sister. She had this terrible accident where she now basically has the mind of a little kid. She ends up taking the sister with her, and you find out they had a brother that died. So you're trying to figure out the connection between the accident, was the brother involved, like what happened. The trip itself, terrible, scary, obviously, like they're just trekking through these woods and all these weird things keep happening. And it goes back and forth between the timeline of their accident, like what happened, and it does have incest, so trigger warning for just like some sibling incest and just like other very uncomfortable things. So beside that, like as uncomfortable it is to read that, the story itself was interesting, but the end just got kind of like wanky, janky, wonky, I don't know. The end was just like, I don't really care. It got a little too crazy. Like we met the Riverman and it was just a little too crazy. As far-fetched as the story itself was, that was just like not real. Like it just wasn't reality. So that's where it lost me. But overall, decent read. There is a second one and you don't know how it leaves off. You don't know what happens. So I'm kind of interested to see the second one. May not read it. I don't know. But obviously it's a short book, so it doesn't take long. But that's all 4 books. We went very high, very low. That's it. I said last month, I was like, hope to God I have a better month because I read 5 books in July. I didn't do any better, so I'm going to set myself a TBR for September, hoping that it kickstarts something in me. I don't think I went through a slump. I just was busy and just was never like getting around to reading, and I was doing the tandem as well. So I was reading a lot from the tandem. So it's not necessarily a slump or anything, and I'm really enjoying the Windy City series, so hopefully this means the books will pick up. And fall starting, so that just means naturally I'm gonna read more because I fucking love the fall. But we're gonna decorate my room soon. We're gonna do a little TBR video. We're gonna have the fun reading vlog with that and another book as well. What else? And my 1 year of YouTube is coming up, so I'm gonna have to do something for that. If there's anything you've been wanting to see or you want me to do specifically, let me know and maybe I'll make it into my little 1 year video if anyone has something crazy. That's about it. So thanks for watching another monthly readathon. Nope. Another monthly wrap up. Maybe we'll have a readathon, I don't know. But thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.